Yes, people. What is happening? What is good? What is up? Bringing JK as well. We got two turntables and a microphone here. So we got on one deck we have Lee Carlson, and then the other one we have JK. How you doing, JK?
All good, all good, bro. What you saying? Harley as well.
Pretty good. Let me see. Lee might not be back just yet. He's going to grab a quick cup of tea. But welcome back to Liberal 12 Man Show. Today is one of those days where I'm not even reacting to a match. First, I'm reacting to the conversation about Liverpool. And that's because I've seen a bunch of different breakdowns on what we have to worry about, what we have to analyze, what we have to critique, and the likes. Shout out to Lee Wizkid out there. Shout out to Cedric. Hope that you are well.
Yeah, bless up,
and
bros.
doing your thing at work or at the house or wherever you are. Maybe you're out at the cafe, just sitting back, enjoying a cup of tea or coffee and listening along. Appreciate everyone out there. I saw a couple of different Sky Sports debates, and I wanted to definitely speak on some of the things that they've been talking about it. Like what they've been talking in these episodes. So it's an interesting one because it's done by I have Jamie Carragher. I have a couple other interesting individuals that speak on it. The Petersboro owner, for instance, is one of the people that was involved in one of the conversations. And I'll be honest, parts of it are bang on, and parts of it are classic TV. Let's stir up the pot type football. Big statements, neat boxes. A couple conclusions that don't usually survive. The contact with reality in a sense. And I want to be really clear before we even start. I'm not doing the everyone's clueless but me routine. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. I'm saying this with respect, but because criticism of Liverpool right now is, I think, well earned. Would you not say, JK?
Look, at the end of the day, what we've been through this season, result-wise, the recent run was at least we sort of stabilised the ship. But after that Bournemouth result, it took us back to square one again because we drew too many games in that run, man. We're sixth position, bro. We ain't win a win. Haven't won a league game in God knows how long now. So it's not a great time right now. For me, the bigger picture being Slot's in the press conference today and stuff. He seems sort of confident, happy. So I think he felt the pressure before he went on this little run. He felt the pressure then, for sure. Gapco and Salah leaving, injury-wise, and African Cup of Nations, it sort of was a blessing in disguise for him. I think the Gapco starting on Sunday, Saturday against Bournemouth, went a great idea for me. Hi, Eric, as well in the chat. It wasn't a great idea, bro. For me, if Ekitike started that game with Salah, it would have been different.
Okay. I guess, and I agree with your conclusion on that. He did address that in the presser. We'll talk about the press conference that he had as well. Some of at least one particular segment of it I'm going to bring up. But I was also saying what I did because I think we've been slow this year. Been some people would say it called boring football, unentertaining, maybe passive could be a word that you could use. Maybe we've certainly been vulnerable in transitions. We've made ourselves easy to play against. I think far too often is the point of what I'm trying to get at. And but while what I'm not allowing is I'm watching these Sky Sports pundits talk about it. I'm not going to do this lazy leap that some pundits are doing. Liverpool are struggling with set piece encounters to Liverpool are not suited to the Premier League. Um, you know, um, I say that lazy because we've been saying that on this channel for a time now. It seems like you're the big pundits, and they're just like catching up to something that we've been talking about for a hot minute on the show. So today's episode is about breaking down the debate properly. Let's talk about what's fair, what's overstated, what we should be focusing on if we are actually want some solutions instead of what we're getting from a lot of different channels, which is theater. So I'm gonna
Pantomime time.
yeah, pantomime time, definitely. Lee, you with us too?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Hi, Lee. How you cool, bro?
Hi, JK. Yeah, good. Thanks, mate.
Good one.
All right, let's go straight into the debate itself because the first main was about vulnerability and about body language, and the one and the other one is about is a little bit more revealing, I think, than most people would think. Again, I saw this on Sky Sports. The opening question was basically, do you see vulnerability in this team that were champions pretty recently? And the response was about body language, about urgency and a specific moment. And I couldn't agree with that more. Like, I definitely agree that there is one of the biggest critiques that I have against this team is that sometimes some of the players are core components of our team, but yet as a collective, we seem to have gotten some of those players that used to provide that bit of adrenaline, provide that bit of urgency, provide that bit of like spark, are no longer with the team. So, we're calling on other players to do it, and maybe they just don't necessarily strum the right chords for us. And all of a sudden, we're struggling a little bit. I mean, is that your analysis of it too, or do you have a different take on it, Lee?
No, we're definitely struggling. I don't know what can be done to steady the ship. That Bournemouth performance, really bad. The Burnley and the two Leeds games as well, where we couldn't win in any of them 3 games. That's 4 games we should really have won. I mean, the only one of them we looked like winning was the Leeds away game, which started them 4 games off, was the earliest one. Should have took care of that night, but didn't. And then the other ones, we just never looked like winning.
Yeah. I mean, body language is real. I'm not saying it's not, but I just don't think it's like the root cause of everything. Yeah, go ahead, JK.
Like for me,
I think it's more of a symptom. It's more of a symptom. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're all human, and football for me, I always say it's an energy game, and it's all the vibe has to be right, the energy has to be right, body language has to be right. So when I've got sulky players on the subs bench with their body language, I'm not a big fan of that. I want my players who are on the subs bench to think, you know what, we're here if you need me. I'm still getting paid, but the energy has to be right. And I think Chiesa, fair play to the lad. He was in training today. Good to see that. He's always showed the right energies. And I think we've been blessed with our players at Liverpool. Everyone seems to be cool in that way, body language wise. But Arnie Slot's body language, sometimes, I don't know. I wish I could do his press conferences for him. I think I'll do it for free as well. I think sometimes with his answers, he digs a bit of a grave for himself and a bit of a hole for himself, I think sometimes the team around him need to say, listen, bro, you're in England now, and they would twist anything you say. So we don't know what the future holds regarding him and everything. That Bournemouth result didn't do him any favours. The game was there to be won. I think if Wirtz put that away, I've said it before, if Wirtz put that away, I think we would have won that game 3-2, job done. but we crumbled at the end. Look, I don't want to see a game tomorrow. Qarabag, they lost 2-0 at the weekend. Same, so they lost like we did at home. So they lost at home. We lost away, and they've lost like 4 or 5 games on the trot away from home. So they're not in great form. They won the last Champions League game. I know that. But I don't want to see Slot giving these guys a sniff. Nothing. Not even a shot on goal. That's the mentality that's the mentality the boss needs to get into the players. Don't give these. We give too many chances away in games as well. You know, so it's an important game tomorrow. Anyway,
it is. It is. Yeah, it is a very important game, and I thought it was very interesting that Jamie Carragher. I gotta look up the guy's name. Who was on the show with him? It was on Sky Sports. I don't know if you guys watched the episode of Sky Sports, and it was let me try to think if it was what is his name? It's not Fletcher, I want to say. Maybe it was Fletcher.
Who'd he play for?
That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head, actually. Give me a sec. I know how to look it up. But it was Jamie Carragher on the show with him as well. And let me see. Maybe it wasn't Darragh. Maybe it wasn't Jessica Fletcher. Maybe it wasn't Fletcher. Maybe I'm just completely wrong with the name.
yeah, Jessica Fletcher, bro.
Yeah, I know, right? It wasn't. I would know if it was a guy or a girl.
Even Red Armchair comes out with Jessica Fletcher. Yeah, she was cool though. I like Jessica Fletcher, man. She lived to like 90 odd.
Jessica Fletcher. That's funny.
Yeah, she was in like them really old Disney films like Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, you know, with the animation and like all that jazz. Like, remember, I liked that one when I was a kid, Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Murder She Wrote is the main thing she did, yeah.
Yeah, I used to buzz off the Father Dowling mysteries as well with the guy who used to be in Charlie's Angels as Bosley, you know, the one who gave them their missions. It was him in the Father Dowling mysteries.
Yeah, I don't think I know.
Yeah, Elio's English is top class, bro. The English is very good, man. Which country are you, if you don't mind me asking, which country is Helio from? If you can let us know.
Germany.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's from Germany. Yeah, he's from Germany.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he speaks German.
Oh, I thought he was from Norway or somewhere. I thought he was like Scandinavian or something. I don't know why.
No, he's in the same country as you, JK.
Okay, you can let me know where he is. We can meet up, man, for sure.
A citizen, a denizen of Deutschland. Denizen of Deutschland.
Denizen of Deutschland. Yeah, let's turn this. I still see if I can't find it. No, just don't see it. So yeah, I was trying to look. I was trying to see if I can find it. Trying to see if I can find it for you because it's I get his name. I know his name, and it's gonna just annoy me that I can't think of what his name is right now. That's why
I'm trying to think
about the delay.
Regularly pair up with Carragher on Sky.
It was someone. I want to say it was someone that actually does. Let's see. Here, I got it for you. Let me just. I'll go to it. It was. Hold on. Where's Jimmy Floyd Hasselback?
Oh,
Arsenal
Jimmy Floyd, yeah.
Jimmy
I used
Floyd.
to love
Jimmy
Jimmy
Floyd.
Floyd. He was an exciting striker, Jimmy. Scored a lot of great goals right from the edge of the box. He could score from further out, but the edge of the box was his specialty, or just inside the box. Did really well. Him and Van
Yeah.
Hooijdonk as well. We're really good Dutch strikers in the Premier League. Probably
Yeah.
Bergkamp's in a class of his own for a Dutch striker in the Premier League. But him aside, Jimmy Floyd and Pierre Van Hooijdonk were excellent players.
I just want
Go
to
ahead.
just think he answers Helio's question about Slot's comment and stuff. For me, I'm not a big fan of that comment. If we had progressed further in the Champions League, we may have
Hold
not won
up.
the league.
Yeah. Hold up. I do have a segment for that. So
Okay, we can talk about it then.
Yeah. We're definitely going to talk about that because I heard that and I was like, wait a minute. What did you just say? Dude, what is wrong? Maybe we do need to get JK out there, answering the questions, or at least setting him up.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, he ain't got the gift of the gab. I don't think you know what I mean?
I think what's problem is that he doesn't have the same, like, I wouldn't call it even crowd control, but like the way he ingratiates himself to the fan base and to likes. He doesn't have that same personality that kind of makes you feel like, oh, comfortable to hear what he has to say, or when he says it, you don't feel like it's someone talking down to you, or maybe his comments aren't intended to be way that it does. Gravitas. Yeah, the gravitas.
It was in that respect that he had massive shoes to fill in replacing Jurgen, and his ability to communicate and articulate how he felt. Because the press hung off Jurgen's every word when he first came here. His relationship with them soured over time, but when he first came to the Premier League, the press hung on his every word and could wait to speak to him as often as possible.
Yeah, but for me, Slot's paying too much attention to, look, I'm on the big stage right now. I'm in Liverpool, one of the biggest clubs in the world, biggest club in England. And he's sort of, as I said before, he's so bothered about his image that he's actually forgot about the results that sort of help his image, sort of help, makes his image and stuff. So he's too adamant in that way. Like, he wants people to take him serious. That's how I see it. He wants people to take him serious. And sometimes if you just concentrate on having a good soul in the club, like the way he sort of handled Harvey Elliott, didn't really like. And I know that you didn't like it. So I just realized in the way you normally you're a big fan of whoever's in charge, you're a fan of them. And it's like you're probably the last guy out of all of us to say anything bad towards the manager. And I realized in the way he's handled players has made you not be a big fan of his. I realized that.
Because it's not the way that Liverpool. Yeah, it's not the way that our our previous manager that I've been adjudicated to is like it has been. That's just the way I feel like, guys, and it feels like there was like a fatherly figure in Klopp when it came to this team, and those players looked at him as such and appreciated him as such. They felt like he was going to be honest with them. He's going to be straight with them. He was also going to, show them proper respect and love. And it doesn't seem like there's too many times that he's thrown players under the bus. And for me, his comments as of late have been putting down Liverpool and acting like we should be like, oh, we're sorry for even, questioning what it is that you presented, and that's why it doesn't hit. I had the segment for later on in the show, but I'll do the segment now. Like the whole, UCL exit helped the title comment. Slot basically suggested maybe the reason Liverpool won the league last season was because they got knocked out early by PSG. and then had a week to prepare for each league match going forward. And I heard him say that, and I was just like, what the heck? It was one thing for you to say it when you said it about the FA Cup or about the League Cup, just as of recently, excuse me. It's one thing for you to say something like that. And we can all get the concept. Manchester United are enjoying not playing, only playing once a week. They just had to get a manager that can get them. They got a manager bounce. They've gotten themselves together somewhat. They got a little bit of what's going underneath them. And now you have this where, they're winning. Great, fantastic for them, not for us, obviously, and we don't want to see that happen. But to go as far as to say that this isn't a popular opinion, but and then present this opinion of we should be happy we got knocked out of the Champions League is the wrong mentality in my mind, because this comment is a problem.
Like,
you can't have that mentality. Go ahead.
Look at Lee Wiskid's comment there. We were 12 points ahead when we got knocked out of the Champions League. It was win, bro. Like that week, I always talk about that week. The Carabao Cup final and the Champions League second leg. I was like, and the Southampton game. Darwin got a couple of goals. We thought, start him against PSG. Start him in the final against Newcastle. Never did nothing like that. So that showed you the way this guy moves, We haven't been great in a long time, bro. We're conceding goals like a leak under your sink, We're just leaking goals, bro. We let 3 goals in again. We let 3 goals in again in the Premier League. How many times have we let 3 goals in a game in the season? It's a good 5-6 times. 5 times, say?
Plenty. Too many times.
Well,
Chelsea, City. We can name them now. Chelsea, City, Brentford, Bournemouth, Leeds. God, the list goes on, bro. So it's not great. It's not great. I think if we turn them draws into wins in the league, it would have been all right. I think if them draws, Sunderland, Leeds, all these teams we drew against, Burnley. Come on, man. Come on. Burnley at home. 1-1. Come on, man. Come on.
There's a saying here in my parts of the world, if ifs were a fifth, we'd all be drunk, because that's what it is. If this had happened, if that had happened. The reality of it is that it didn't.
It didn't happen. That's what I'm saying.
And that's absolutely clueless as to what the baffling hypothesis of if we'd have stayed in the Champions League, we mightn't have won the league. Where that came from, like, I suppose he's just desperate. He's got to clutch at straws now in interviews. And maybe
he didn't even need to say nothing though, bro. That's the thing. He don't need to say nothing in his interviews. Like, he talks too much about stuff he don't need to talk about. And I'm so surprised there's no one in the background saying, hey, Arnie, you don't need to say nothing. Let your football do the talking. Jurgen Klopp could talk. Why? His football did the talking, so all he did was add the cream on top, the cherry on top, of the package what he was portraying. Top energy. You could just listen to him. Arnie Slot is so hard trying to portray an image to the world that he don't let. He's probably a funny guy, bro. I think he could. He looks cheeky, Arnie Slot. You know what I mean? I bet he's a funny guy, but you will never see it.
Probably is. He's probably fun. Yeah, he's probably a cool guy to hang out with, or But I mean, the point is, when he made that comment about we should be happy that we got knocked out, basically that we were fortunate to have gotten knocked out by Paris or Paris Saint-Germain. I was like, it just rubbed me the wrong way in the sense of saying like that's just ludicrous. Liverpool were already. The point is, we were already clear in the league. Like we had a sizable gap between us and second place when we played PSG. So it's not like we had someone breathing down our neck and we were like, oh, here we're gonna have to like really hunker down and everything else. We were clear by that time. Europe ended. So telling it like we won because we got knocked out feels like some revisionary history being woven to and what's really scary. I don't know if you guys believe this, maybe in the chat you do too. I think I might have even seen someone suggest this. What's really, really upsetting or possibly scary to hear is this your way of telling us, hey, maybe we need to get knocked out of Champions League so we can make top 4? Is that what you're trying to like set us up for? Will that be the, oh, well, we made top 4, but we were unfortunate we got knocked out of the, out of the round of 16 or whatever. Is that what we're getting? Is that what we're getting basically, like suited up for? That is not the mentality I want to have associated with this club. We compete in 4 competitions every season, and that's that. And our intentions are to win all 4. To win all 4. And that's what is that's problematic to me. Say losing helped us win sounds backwards. It's not the identity of Liverpool. It's actually, if anything, it is a slippery slope. It's almost like stepping on poison, basically. Because no way do you ever say, "Oh, well, thank goodness we're out of that competition." I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see that happen. Big up, Nigel. Tell us what you think, Nigel. Share with us what you think.
I would say on the centre-back situation that we're taking an unnecessary risk with our Champions League qualification if we don't buy a centre-back, because we have 2 fit, and of those 2 fit centre-backs, only 1 was available to play Bournemouth. So basically we went into that with 1 fit centre-back, ended up with Endo. And I think we're tempting fate. It's an unnecessary risk to put our Champions League qualification in jeopardy, because the money it costs to lose out on the Champions League would be far more than what it would cost to buy a centre-back right now before the window shuts. Are you writing this season off?
Share with us. Yeah, no, not writing any season off. That's the thing. I don't want to write off any competition, to be honest with you.
No, that's what I'm talking about, the owners. The people in charge of buying players.
No, I noticed that a lot of the attention has started to shift towards FSG, shift towards Edwards, and shift towards even Hughes as well. He's the one making the decisions on the players and the likes. And it is an interesting perspective that some have brought into the conversation. But again,
I'd not like to end up in the Europa League again. It's become even weaker since we were last in it under Klopp. No Champions League teams go into it now, even like they used to. It doesn't happen now, so it's even weaker. If we ended up in that again, it'd be shit. It'd be very deflating. It'd be a good word for it, deflating.
Nigel brought clarity to what he said. He said he thinks it's better to be realistic, and he is being realistic. Hopefully he'll win us the European Cup with his comment this afternoon in mind. I'm hoping that he can. I've already put it out there that I think that we are we are. I already put it out there that we're going to win the Champions League and not win the Premier League. That was my prediction. I said we're more suited to win. I think what's wild and what I was trying to bring up in the first segment was that Jamie Carragher brought up in his segment. He spoke about how this club is not built to perform in the Premier League. It's built to perform in Europe more so. This is something we've been talking about so umpteen times before this, and it is nice to hear when when something you've been saying is validated in one way or another, or vindicated in another by them performing and winning it. But I just think that there's certain things that you say. There's certain things that you have to put out there in the stratosphere for people to get galvanized, get behind the players, behind the direction of the team and the likes, even when times are tough. And that's what they are right now. Times are tough. And I just don't believe that it's sometimes I think there's a thin line between trying to be the smartest guy in the room instead of being the clearest minded leader in the room, to recognize, to be able to read the room and say, I have a theory, but this isn't the right time to bring that theory out. This isn't the right forum to bring that theory out. We just lost to a team that's 1-10 or something like that, right? We had one win, 10 games, 14 games, something like that. We're now going up in the Champions League, and we have Qarabag to come in our sights. And you're talking about how it was a good thing for us to lose to PSG because it helped us win the Premier League. I don't know where you want me to go with that comment. That's my issue. That does not make me say, oh yeah, I feel better now. That's what I'm trying to say. I want fans to definitely start to back the manager. I want fans to back this club. I want fans to back the players. But it all takes players performing better. The club making better decisions on the acquisitions and the likes. And it also takes our coach knowing that you have to get the tactics right and you have to get the PR right. And the PR position, we know he's not getting the tactics on point all the time. I just think that he's failing more times than not at the PR portion of it. He's leaving fans and people like myself that want to go, I support this manager, which I do, but I mean, I actively going out there, not criticizing him or critiquing him so viciously, I guess you could say, to some people's perception. But the constructive criticism has to be hopefully engulfed by him. He took some. I'll give you a quick scenario, a quick example of what I mean. Stevie G gave him advice to stop talking about low blocks. How many times have you heard our coach talk about our inefficiencies against low blocks this season? Just this season. I'm not even talking about last season. I'm talking about just this season. How many times has our coach talked about our inefficiencies and how we don't have an answer for a low block? My suggestion, and you can hear JK's in a second, I'm sure, but my suggestion is, A, don't talk about low blocks because everyone understands the fact that we have an issue with them. But if you are going to talk about low blocks, figure out solutions for low blocks. Point out how we broke down low blocks and did a better job of doing this or doing that against the low block, or having something to build off from our oppositions. But just throwing up your hands and saying, no, I don't know. We're just not good at low blocks. And I just hope that teams would just play more open, have more open play against us, or be more open with their play against us. Doesn't answer the problem. I don't want to hear excuses. I want to hear solutions. I'm a fan, like everyone else here. But Arne Slot's job is to find out solutions. I've been providing my own solutions all season. I've been saying we should go to a 4-4-2, for instance, for pretty much this entire season. And finally, we've done something to that extent. Now it's about staying consistent with it, building on it, and moving forward with it. But who knows? Because this coach has gone back from 4-4-2 to a 4-2-3-1, even though it doesn't work. I'm asking for solutions, not just, repackaging a problem and then presenting it as like, oh, here you go. So that doesn't do anything for us. It doesn't excuse our slow tempo. It doesn't excuse the repeated patterns with no threat. It doesn't excuse a league form that looks like we're playing with the handbrake on. And I say this because we've seen our team get, quote unquote, arguably better. And that in a sense of bringing in, quote unquote, better talent to this club. And that should make something of a difference. But do you see it as honest context? Do you see it as just Arne being Arne and giving us honest context, not caring, or caring how much it hurts to hear? Or is it a PR, I guess you call it like a PR own goal?
Yeah, it is a bit weird, isn't it? Like, there isn't much for them to cling to at the moment, is there? We did have an unbeaten record for a while, although we drew a lot of them games. But that's gone now. We've lost for the first time in a while, although some of them draws felt like defeats, the home ones especially. Yeah, there's not much good news on the horizon at the moment. The only good news is we could probably rouse ourselves to beat Qarabag, but that doesn't mean it'll translate into our performance for the Newcastle game. I went down the road of believing that the Marseille game might have buoyed us for the Bournemouth trip, and that we would have got a little bit of bounce off it, or at least enough bounce to get us 3 points. But we just weren't at the races from the beginning. It didn't take them that long to go in front, did it, Bournemouth? And they haven't won in like 15 matches or some shit like Bournemouth. They managed to beat us.
I know he's taken a different stance to this, but I do hope that Nigel's right.
I tell you the stuff I saw the other, I don't know if it was earlier today or whatever, but said like since we started the season with them 5 wins, getting 15 points, we've only had like 5 more wins the entire season since late August, early September. Since then, we've had just 5 wins to go with the 5 we got to start the season. It's terrible, isn't it? Terrible to go all them months with 5 wins. It's nearly as many months. August, 5 months, like basically we've had like 1 win a month in the league since early September.
Yeah, it's not been a pretty day of sledding down this hill.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask, like, I know that some people have different opinions on his comments and the takes that he took on the likes because I think he doubled down on the whole well this league or this league, this club has only won this league twice in the past 30 years. Again, I just don't think that he has the gift. He doesn't have the gift of gab, this guy, our coach, unfortunately. That's all due respect, because I know that, like, we want to project on the future. We want to project on now and the future, more so than reflecting on our shortcomings of the past. And the reflection that I remember him saying was that we're a club that's won two titles in the last 5 years, not reflecting on, trying to emphasize how we should be so grateful to you for bringing us our second in the past 30. But I would even transition to the Sky Sport segment that I saw. Yeah, exactly. That's not a endearing comment by our coach at all. That's just kind of like you should be thanking me, type situation, I think. But the Sky Sports segment that I saw again with Jamie Carragher again, but then or at least they showed segments of Jamie Carragher, and this part had a different individual. They had the owner of Peterborough on the show, and I wanted to talk about the fact that Robbo isn't going to Spurs any longer. That's the first bit of good news, I guess we could hear, because the deal was supposedly around $5 million. Liverpool pulled the plug, and the reason being floated is very simple. Robbo wasn't desperate to go. They're risky to let him go. Kirkaz is in his first season, and what's wild about it is that we couldn't get Simicast back from loan. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why that's a situation. Apparently, I thought Roma was, not looking to carry out with his loan at Roma any longer. But for some reason we can't get Simicast back from loan just yet. So the replacement pathway collapsed. And whether every detail is perfect or not, the theme to this is unmistakable. Liverpool are operating like a team that can't afford to remove any functional depth right now, and that makes sense. We are at bare minimum when it comes to players being represented. I don't know. I saw we're going to this weekend, but tomorrow have to use a center, a midfielder as a center half. That's what's going to happen tomorrow. Not because we don't rate a Gomez or we don't rate Ibu. Those players aren't available. Ibu is still grieving for the loss of his father, and Joey isn't capable of going. He's just not. He's physically not ready to be put back out there just yet.
Seeing as how we're now going into our second game consecutively with only one fit centre back available, that would, you hope, ring alarm bells for Hughes and Edwards, if they're the ones who are going to decide if we move in the window or not. I mean, it's a case of having to, I think, and it may have to be that we target somebody that we're not like massively keen on, like a massive big name. It's just got to be someone who can come in and provide like a bit of cover. There'll be someone good enough to play in the team should anything else go wrong, but there has to be help, surely. Like trying to go until late May, which is another 4 full months of this in 3 competitions with 1 or 2 fit centre halves is ludicrous, and you're relying on Endo then, or Robbo or Gravenberch to fill the role.
Yeah. No, I think the football clubs aren't run like talk shows. So, despite the fact you see them talk sport or on Sky Sport or BBC Sports or Peacock, wherever you're watching across the world, the decision makers will ask simple questions at our club. Are the performers trending upward? Are the issues at the club fixable? Is the dressing room intact? Is the recruitment plan coherent? And are injuries distorting that picture? I think all those things will be factored into whether we continue to carry on with our current coach, whether we continue to carry on with maybe even Richard Hughes. But because you got to keep in mind, their contracts are coming up as well. Their contracts are coming at they're at a year and a half left on their contracts. I had another segment that I never got to, but that was something on that. I will say that the Sky Sport episode, they brought in a fan, and he spoke. He spoke from what I hear a lot of fans out there speaking about, whether on this channel or not. I hear a lot of fans still talk about how the football's stale, it's slow, it's not brave. We don't play our youth the way that we used to. Low blocks aren't new. We all know that concept. And he seems to be ready to pull the plug with that comment, in my opinion, but who knows? With at least the fan was ready to pull the plug on with some of those comments he made. But I still think that you can get a read of how a team's doing by the fans, whether it's fans online or maybe even it's the fans that go to the games, or maybe it's just the fans that watch every last bit of information and game breakdowns and the whole likes that they can. It's not easy to diagnose, but it is, and also always just emotion talking. I do have a question for the chat and also for you, the panel. Is it Champions League or bust? Is that a fair assessment given last season's title, or is that just media panic to you? Is it Champions League or bust?
Of course.
JK?
Yeah. For me, 100%. Look, the Premier League, when you really look at it, it was winnable again. But for me, the Champions League is the one.
Yeah.
In Europe, we're playing pretty well, and I reckon it's the mentality in European games totally different to the mentality in the Premier League games, and that's the problem all season, bro.
Yeah.
But we could win it.
Yeah.
Do we have to get top four?
Yeah, because like the financial considerations, plus just the dispiriting, deflating nature of having to compete in what is a very, very weak Europa League these days. I mean, you saw how weak it was last season by the two teams that finished 15th and 16th in the Premier League going to its final.
What I mean too, though, is not necessarily do we have to get, of course we have to get top four, but I mean, or at least qualify for Champions League in one way or another, either by winning it or by obviously achieving top four or maybe even top five. But my question though is, hypothetically, if we do win the Champions League, which will be phenomenal, do we still have to show well in the Premier League? Do we still have to show that, great, we won the Champions League, but we also put in a performance in the Premier League that, merits that of a defending champion, making an effort to, save face, I guess. It's still to you, Lee. It's still to you. Do you think that we have to, if we win the Champions League, do we still have to perform, or at least end up in that top 5, top 4 bracket?
Of course, bro, because for me, you got to make a safety net. If you don't win the Champions League, for me, Florian Wirtz and Ekitike and these guys need to play Champions League football, bro. That's why they came to Liverpool. So for me, I wouldn't be caring less about the Champions League right now. For me, the league form is the main spine of the season, is the league. And if your form in there is good, you could take that into the Champions League. Yeah, we're 4th in the Champions League. It's mind-boggling. We win, we'll finish 4th or 3rd. And that's cool. You know, in that way. But the Premier League... Ooh.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if I was on...
Exactly, Lee. If we reach the final, we're all happy days. We win it next year, then we end up losing. And then what you got? You finish 6th in the league. So for me, the league, bro, you've got to use that as the rhythm maker. It's the rhythm maker, the Premier League.
Yeah, I think like I think it's important that we definitely perform well in. I mean, it's great if we do make it to a Champions League final. That'd be fantastic. But that's the last game of the season, you know? So holding off to hope that ends up being your final trump card, and not having the insurance like you're speaking on, of knowing at least that going into this game, if we win, great. If we lose, it's not, no one's going to be happy about it. But at the very same time, at least we know that we will be returning to the Champions League, as opposed to being in the, finishing 6th in the league and then losing a Champions League final. That's not necessarily or a possibility of losing a Champions League final. That wouldn't be great. Let me twist the conversation a little bit, because I don't want people getting too negative in the chat here. But I thought that in that same segment they spoke about Guehi, and it was Darragh MacAnthony, who is the Peterborough owner, that came in. That was the pundit that was speaking in the segment, and he went on to say that Guehi would have been worth it for us to spend not only the 30-something, whatever it was, I think it was 30 million, right? 30 million pounds for the player, but also to have paid him the 300,000 plus a week that he's getting as compensation. And that angle to me was I don't think was the right angle. I don't think that he basically tried to call out those of us that thought that he's a good player, but he's not worthy. It's not worth putting yourself in a position where you're going to jeopardize future signings, jeopardize possibly the balance of the wages in your locker room. And the fact that I honestly do not think that I don't think that Guehi is the second highest, he's now, I think his wages now make him the second, if not the third highest defender in the league right now. So I think that, again, to separate these things, I think Guehi as a player, good center back, Premier League proven, international star, strong profile. No one is saying he's rubbish. But Guehi as a wage precedent, that's where this whole take that he had about we should have gone for Guehi and that was this and that. I don't think that if we have Guehi, we win the league. I don't think Guehi is like the determining factor of us winning or losing the league. I don't think it's the determining factor of us having form and shape and all that to our team. would have been a helpful position right now, considering our center half depth? Absolutely. But I wouldn't go as far as to say that he was the fulcrum point to where we can say that, oh, because we didn't have Guehi this year, that's the reason why we lost the league. Is that I don't think that's too far, right?
No.
Okay. No? How about for you, JK? Oh, JK's on mute. So, but you, I just think it's a little bit deeper than that. And it was an interesting conversation because I just think it does a lot more to your dressing room. You know, you create this whole like, your every agent's going, why is Guehi getting 300,000 plus a week, and and my player that's won more, done, whatever case might be, is and has played for this team, is still laboring at at Diaz wages, or at obviously Diaz isn't on our team anymore, but I'm just saying in that lower end deal where you're making money, you're making peanuts compared to what you should be making at a possible other team or your counterparts are making. But I just think it was important to have that conversation. Did you have any insight, Lee, you wanted to share on that point?
No, I don't think getting Guehi would have transformed in the summer, would have transformed our season from what it is into like a champion, a title defence. I think we would have still fell short, but we would have fell less short, like with another defender to use, I think, at times.
But like for me, the whole gay situation, when were we willing to pay the same wages? I don't think so.
No, we
I don't
weren't.
think-
We weren't at all. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting that too, JK. I'm not suggesting that we were going to even remotely entertain 300,000, or when we were originally going to sign him in the summer, we weren't going to sign him at those kinds of wages. Not even close. But what I am trying to suggest is, City made that offer, so that offer is there, and they've set the bar at 300,000, whatever it is. So now it's either we meet that, or we, or we finesse him to think that he has to come to Liverpool, and he's got some some he just loves the program or the club or whatever so much that he chooses us. But if a player is going to get, if we offer him, let's say hypothetically 200K, and then someone that goes and says we're going to offer you 300K, I can be safe to bet which club he's going to go with. You can finish your point. I didn't mean to totally.
Yeah, it's cool, right? Yeah, I just saying that's the way of football now. Gays, because he's an England regular. I think because he's an England regular, he can get them wages. I don't think if he played for England in the amount he has, he would never have got them wages. He's good, but he's not that good.
That was my point. Yeah,
if he came on board, it would have been sound. Him and Semenyo, if them two came on board, bro, I can see us getting the Champions League.
Our wage bill's quite high now, as high as it's been in a long time, obviously, and
our wage bill is
compared to City's overall wage bill, though, it's nothing. Ours is chicken feed compared to theirs. They've got so many players on upwards of 250, and Haaland's all the way up to 500, I think, a week, isn't he?
Yeah.
$500,000 a week, mate.
Yeah, we're in the top 5 for wages.
City are comfortably number 1, I would assume.
Oh, they outspend us by £70 million.
Man United is no cheap affair as well. Like when they added players like Casemiro, who's still there.
Yeah, they're only
but they
United are 11 million pounds behind us. It goes Man City at 233, Arsenal at 180, Liverpool at 163, Chelsea at 156, and then United at 152. Yeah.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how long it takes before we hear of any potential deal with Xabi, or at least like that he agrees to talk to us. It'd be a straight toss-up between us and Bayern Munich, wouldn't it? That's if Bayern Munich wanted him, because they're doing all right under Vinny Company. But then again, they could lose company to City, couldn't they, to replace Pep?
I think, and just like you're saying, all these different, managers that might be moving around. I mean, that's the point too, is that maybe Guehi is the center back or center half for Slot, but not maybe he's not the center half of choice for Enrique or Alonso or I don't know, whoever fill in the blank, Nagelsmann, I don't know, Ancelotti, whoever you have as a possible replacement, even Steven Gerrard. Maybe he's not that. He's not the center half of choice. And if you don't have, we can all agree that it's not a surety that Slot will be our manager going forward after the summer. So, and I'm not saying don't sign defenders. I am only saying sign defenders intelligently. You got to find a good fee, a good profile, an age, a fit, and a wage harmony, and make it stick. Make it stick. And that's important. That's very important for us. Agreed? No, disagree? Agree?
No, agreed, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think his point for Guehi was well taken. I don't know. I thought that Guehi would have been a nice addition to our team, but I don't think our season rises or falls on whether Guehi is a part of it or not. It's a matter of if Guehi if Guehi's not the player that we're going to bring in, still bring in the defender. I don't feel comfortable playing players out of position.
But like for me, bro, Guehi would have made a big difference for me. Like, look, Scott's already said it. Tomorrow, we're going to be using another player instead of a centre back in that position next to Van Dijk. Realistically, Van Dijk should be resting tomorrow. When you look at it, opposition wise, he's the only fit centre back we've got, bro. So, Guehi coming in was a no brainer for me. Should have been done.
Despite Man United doing Man City a favour and beating Arsenal, I don't see City having enough to win the title back. I think Arsenal will win it. Irrespective of them buying Guehi and Semenyo, I think they'll fall short of winning the title back, and Arsenal will clinch it at some point. I mean, I think City are going to drop just as many points as Arsenal between now and the end of the season. A lot of people hoping Arsenal will bottle it again, but I can't see it. There aren't any signs of it, like, really. Yeah, it's a defeat at home for them, but it's one defeat. There hasn't been many for them, has there? In fact, they haven't lost games, have they, before this?
If it was the same City that went after us when we were in the Premier League race a few years ago, bro, it would have been done. We would have been wrapped up by how these guys would have, because they had a few dodgy results, City, in the last month. They've had some dodgy ones, bro. They've had draws and everything, a lot of defeats. So they even lost they lost to Bodo Glimt in the Champions League last round. Come on, 4-1, bro. Was it 4-1 or 3-1, something like that? Madness.
Yeah,
3-1. Yeah. Well, Liverpool are trying. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, City it's just mind-boggling. Like, with the players they've brought in, they should probably be above Arsenal. But Arsenal have also spent big money. Come on, let's not be thingy about it. They spent at least Arteta spent $1 billion. So yeah.
Yeah. I was just going to say Liverpool are trying to secure obviously an automatic progression to our UCL. We beat Qarabag. We protect the top 8 position. We avoid the playoff headache. We're in this weird season where Premier League form is winless in 2026. I repeat that. We are winless in 2026. We're at the end of the month and we're winless in 2026 in the Premier League. But Europe is where Liverpool keep looking like the Liverpool that we want to see. I'm not going to pretend like Qarabag is Real Madrid. But I'm also not going to undervalue any team in the Champions League. You can do that at your own haste. I mean, some people had us walking over PSV, for instance. And PSV certainly put us in our places. But I'll tell you what is wild and something that I want to see change in this next game. Liverpool's weaknesses are second balls, apparently, counters, and passive tempo. The only way we make Qarabag dangerous is by playing slow, giving cheap transitions, and treating the match like it'll win itself. Like just sitting back and being like, "Oh, everything's okay. Everything's okay. It's okay. We'll just eventually it'll work itself out," rather than taking matters by the hand and creating the opportunities and chances yourself. My predicted 11, I gave it yesterday, but I've already changed it since I do know now that Ibu isn't going to be a part of the club for this game. Not part of the club, you know what I mean by it. He's not going to be available for selection tomorrow. And because Gomez isn't going to be available for selection. So I'm going with my predicted 11 as being Ali in goal. Frimpong, we saw Frimpong take the press conference today, so I think it's pretty much assured that he's getting the nod. Also, Ramsey isn't even available for our Champions League roster, so he wasn't even an option. Center halves, Virgil van Dijk. And this one might rub people wrong, but I think that we're going to go with Endo. And I think Kirkez will be on the left. I think that we'll go with Grav and Jones. I think we will do a 4-2-2-2 again, but we will see Grav and Jones in the pivot. We'll see Dom and Verts in that forward 2, or the forward 2 of the box, the box midfield. And then we certainly will see Ekitike and Salah, I believe, in our front line. Tell us what you think is your roster or your starting 11 for tomorrow. If it's different than mine, then certainly say, hey, this is who I think is going to be here. If you think you agree with what I had to say, then tell me that you're on point with, or on brand with what I have to say. But I'm going to let Lee give his starting 11, and I'll let JK give his. Who would be your starting 11, Lee?
Against Qarabag, I'd go Allison Frimpong. It's going to have to be Endo with Van Dijk. Kirkez. Then I'd go McAllister, Gravenberch, and Sobersley. And I'd go Verts, Ekitike, and Salah.
Okay. JK?
Can you repeat it, bro? Yeah.
Who's your starting 11?
Oh, tomorrow. Yeah, of course, Alisson Frimpong, me, Virgil van Dijk, Robertson. I'll go Robertson tomorrow.
Wait, what did you say?
Me, Virgil van Dijk, Robertson.
I know. I was gonna say. I thought you said.
Guehi's got his boots laced up already, 12.
Yeah.
Raring to go. Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Aren't we all? On the quiet.
Yeah.
It could be Gravenberch. Could be.
It could be. I know Lone Sheep says this could be Endo or Grav. If they choose not to use JK in the center half and the likes, and they do use Gravenberch in the back line, what is you're going to go with McAllister, Jones, Dom, and Verts? Are you comfortable with that? Lee, are you comfortable with that? You can tell us in the chat too. Definitely include yourself in the
Sorry, run that bit by me again. What does that mean?
Are you comfortable with McAllister in the midfield tomorrow instead of
McAllister?
If you're going to start Gravenberch, hypothetically, if you start Gravenberch as a center half,
we need Gravenberch in midfield. I'd be much more comfortable playing Endo with Van Dijk. Endo's done it before. He's played there more times than Gravenberch, both for us and in his career. So I'd want Gravenberch in the middle with McAllister and Dom, and I'd play like Verts off the left, Salah off the right, and Ekitike through the middle.
Okay.
To play 3 at the back, Frimpong, Virgil, and Robertson.
Oh no, I wouldn't want to see that.
That'd be messy. That'd be messy, man.
I was like, oh.
Lee's like, oh, fuck that.
Yeah. That could get ugly.
Imagine if we went to 3 centre-backs and we kept only having 1 centre-back available for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that would be an issue. Yeah, it's the reason why you can't go to that. You can't go to
Scott was asked the question about Gomez. Is he ready? This, that, and the other. There was no news on his fitness, so him and Kanate are not available for this week. I don't reckon. We've got Newcastle at the weekend as well, haven't we? So.
I just think the Ekitike thing is probably a bigger concern to me than our back line. Ekitike, I know what I mean by that is Ekitike is. I'd have to get an update on our record, but we win a lot more than we lose without him in it. And so the point is, when Ekitike does start for us, we tend to win the games. When Ekitike doesn't start for us, we tend to not. So
and that's why Bournemouth. I was a bit pissed off that it was Gapco starting. I was like, start Ekitike, man, because when he's playing, we win. I see that.
Yeah. I'm a big Cody fan, and I think he unfortunately gets a lot of unwarranted, possibly. Like he gets put into scapegoat FC quite a bit. I think he's a player that is working his way back into his more consistent form. We all got to recognize the fact that he was injured not too long ago, but he has been working his way back towards his form. I know some people recognize the fact that he is a coach favorite. Some think that some way and somehow they're related or something. They're not. But Ekitike is important, I guess, and I think in this lineup. And I'm interested to see what kind of bounce back game Salah has in a game where he has been other than the step, the pass the back heel that he made to for the free kick, there was a lot left. There's a lot that was left wanting in that game for Salah, put it that way, in the Bournemouth game. So I think he's got something to. He's got to definitely step it up in this upcoming game. I think he's definitely going to step it up, and Qarabag could be an opportunity to do so, especially with him more central. I think is a role that he could. I think Salah can develop or adapt to this role for us. Is it a role that he would want to go possibly forward with and continue to go forward with? Probably not. He'll probably feel more comfortable on in his right wing. But I still think that he can make a measure of it as being more central in this game. Do you agree or you disagree, guys? Nope.
Who's more central?
Salah.
Not really. No, central. One where he's most dangerous, which is on the right wing.
Mm-hmm. But it's interesting. You think he's more
for him? He's not as effective.
Because I remember when Pep and Jurgen made him when Pep made him meaning Salah, they tried to force him out further wide, and a lot of people really found issue in that. They didn't like seeing Salah that wide on the pitch. They thought that it didn't allow for him to have the space, and he wasn't as I wouldn't say capable, but he wasn't as threatening on that wide side or hugging the touchline, basically. It's interesting. I think that he can make a difference. I think he can make a difference in his career. I don't think he has right now. He's not having the success rate that he normally does against taking on fullbacks. Maybe if he's taking on a center half, he could find, he could find that difference maker. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've got to find a way to get the best out of him. Now he's back. I thought maybe we'd be in a little bit better form, hopefully, when he came back. But it hasn't turned out that way. But there's no reason why he can't have a successful end to the season in terms of being part of a winning team. When I say winning,
you want to see
games rather than predicting that we win a trophy, because I don't see us winning the Champions League. Maybe there's a chance of the FA Cup. Got to take care of Bournemouth, which will be no easy match. There's a step up from Burnley and Brighton. In the FA Cup. There's a step up from Burnley and Leeds and even Bournemouth. I would say Brighton.
What would you? JK and both Lee, would you both be open to seeing Rio start this game?
Of course, why not? I think his last game he looked better in his last game, where a bit more I need to do something instead of just having the ball doing his little tricks he does. In the last game he seemed a bit more, because he got a lot of time in that last game, and he looked good. I don't mind starting him, bro. Start him on the left if need be.
Lee, would you be open to starting Rio in this game?
Possibly. Possibly. That may mean the omission of Salah then from the start, though, because I don't think I'd be dropping Wirtz or Ekitike. Look, it is only Qarabag, and we do only need a draw to advance. But I want us to try and get the job done as soon as possible. So it can be a light night for the players in terms of having to make, maximum physical efforts. If we can get a couple of goals in front and keep them out of our box, like getting too many dangerous attacks, then we could have a relatively quiet night, and that'd be the best way to go into the Newcastle game after an efficient display, like without, too much fuss, the minimum fuss, like, and effort. But they won their last game or some shit, didn't they? I think they don't win many games, but they won one, and I think they'll probably score. I think like I'd go for 3-1 as a scoreline.
Okay. If you are going to start Rio, I did ask the question. I see Lee said Rio over Cody all day long. Jimmy says yes, 12. Give Rio the start. Lone Sheep says Rio needs to get more game time. Who do you start him over? Who do you start him over?
I forgot that, isn't it?
Well, just saying, let's say hypothetically Cody's not starting.
In terms
Because my lineup, for instance, didn't have. I mean, I'll put my lineup in here. Hold on, I'll put it in to the chat. The lineup he would have to start for. He's not starting over Dom. He's not starting over Verts. You'd have to sacrifice either Jones, because he's not sacrificing for Gravenberg. So you'd have the only two players that you would have on there would either be he'd either have to start instead of Jones, or we'd have to start instead of Salah. And if he starts instead of Salah, I wouldn't play him as a in the front two. I don't think he works in a front two at the moment. What would you guys do? I'll put my team in there.
Look, yeah, if we're playing the front two, Rio won't start. But if we're playing the front three, we could. Look at the opposition, bro.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It depends on the opposition, certainly. Yeah. But this was my starting 11. That's why I'm saying you'd have to figure out something. You'd have to figure out something when it comes to.
Look, but
you'd
for
have
me,
to have
I'll play
Gravenberg play back there. Go ahead.
I'll play Gravenberg instead of Endo's position. Put Endo in DM. Yeah.
Say that one more time.
Put Gravenberg as a centre back and put Endo in Gravenberg's position.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah,
that'd be better than with Jones what to like all work to like Ekitike. Job done.
Do you think that's a better fit? Do you think it's a better fit to put Endo as a midfielder than it is to put Endo as a center half?
Yeah, because
that's an interesting take.
Because of the if you're a DM and you make a mistake, the centre back behind you can clean it up. But if you're a centre back and makes a mistake, it's a bit tricky then. So you got a safety net there. If you put Endo in the DM, at least he can just do a DM job. You don't really need to use his pace as such, marking a striker. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay. How about for you, Lee?
Just run that by me again.
Wait 1 second. Hold on. All right, here. I'll allow for you. You can answer this question then by Bookham Ref.
Mm-hmm.
He says he's got a question, or they say they've got a question. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. They said they got a question. God forbid Robbo gets injured tomorrow, as he will be the sub CB who is actually going to play center back or left back from the bench. Who would be on the bench for this team if he is injured?
Don't know. Yeah, Robbo was one of the candidates to play centre-back. If you look at the ones apart from Endo who've played centre-back most for us, who aren't a centre-back, it's Robbo. Then Gravenberch, with subsequently less appearances as a centre-back. But yeah, Robbo is one of the centre-back options, isn't he? Like, if we're stretched. Because again, we're going into this game with only one fit centre-back. There is another one, but like he's bereaved, so he can't play. So for the second match in succession, we've got one centre-back. And surely this is ringing alarm bells for Edwards and Hughes et al.
You would think, but I mean, it doesn't look like we're really pressed on trying to go into the market and find someone for the job.
Then we can't be entirely serious about Champions League qualification because we're taking an unnecessary risk by not buying a centre-back and trying to go for the next 4 months with two fit centre-backs. I mean, I don't know when Joe's scheduled to recover from his latest injury, but he's only just had it, and it didn't look a good one. You know what I mean? It required him coming off the pitch. So we got two guys. We've got two guys. One of those guys is out of form, and he's also bereaved at the moment. And he also hasn't signed a new contract. Why we wouldn't buy a centre-back is beyond me. Doesn't make sense to me. I mean, not everything has to make sense, but this is just an unnecessary risk and taking a liberty, bit of a liberty. Taking a liberty and a gamble sort of thing, like, you know what I mean?
I will say this to my answer to the question that was asked about, and I will knock on wood for that because no one wants to see Robbo get hurt. And not suggesting that Bookham Ref does either. He said, God forbid. But if Robbo were to get injured tomorrow, as he will be the subs center half, who is actually going to play center back or left back from the bench? It is a good question. It is a very good question. But I think the one unique thing about that is the only way that he would play center half is if it was instead of Virgil van Dijk. Because Virgil van Dijk plays on the left side. You're not playing Robbo as your right center half. So chances are you have better solutions for that. You'll probably end up seeing Grav or even Endo play right center half before you see Robbo play right center half. So the need for him to play center half for us isn't probably going to be something that is immediate unless you're looking to get unless you're trying to provide some type of rest for Virgil van Dijk. That's at least in my perspective of looking at the question. At left center, as a left back, it's not too often that you have, it wouldn't be too often that you have 3 left backs on your in your roster. So the fact that we have 2, which was weird that we were trying to get back, we were trying to get rid of Robbo and possibly even replace him with Simicast. But it is what it is. Hey, maybe we do what I wouldn't mind seeing happen, and that is we bring in Anthony Robinson. Maybe we do something like that. But that's still maybe just me speaking from a biased perspective.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. We're gonna have a team full of left backs, bro.
I know.
Yeah,
That wouldn't happen. Well, originally that was what was being thrown out there was that if we weren't going to be able to get Simicast back, especially that we'd end up getting Robinson. Actually, was what was being thrown out there. Everybody's just going on about the about the Robinson. Everyone's shooting that one down. Okay, it's all good. I wasn't the one that made that rumor. I'm just repeating it. That's all.
You heard it from me.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's Norman and Rasta Crab in the chat as well, man.
Yeah.
And more chance of Tracy being a nun.
I know. I got you. Crab getting all political with it. What? I know he's joking. He's only joking. I know he's only joking. You all right, Lee? Yeah. Okay.
Got a frog in my throat and I can't get it out. You know, when you're coughing and trying to get that little bit of will come.
I got you. Got you. I know it's all love, crap. I know it's all love. But tell me, if we had, I think Robinson would be a great fit for this club, regardless. Though I thought he was a good fit even before Kirkes came. To tell you the truth, if we were ever going to need a replacement, I'm going to bet my head that Kwanzaa wouldn't have been sold with Klopp still at our club, says Hylor. How old is Robinson? That's a good question. I think he's 26, but he might be. I'll see.
Anthony Robinson.
Yeah. I think he's
26. He's 27 now, at least. Possibly 28.
I'm off. He's 28.
Did he play for Everton?
He's not 31. He's not 31. He's 28.
I'd say he was 27, going on 28.
No, he's 20. He's 28. He's born in 1997.
Well, there you go.
Yep. 1997. I wouldn't be surprised if he had dual citizenship. That's why I was just wondering if he would actually. Let me find out if he even qualifies.
I would imagine he does. It's fairly standard in that situation, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He's naturalised through his dad, isn't he? Mostly because he grew up here, but his dad's naturalised American, and then he followed suit, did he? So he could play for America. It's worked out well for him.
I don't know where. You'd have to tell me where Milton Keynes.
Milton Keynes, yeah. It's a new place they built in like the 70s.
Oh, wow. You know what? He does qualify for homegrown status, apparently. Despite representing the U.S., he does still qualify for homegrown status.
Yeah. Milton Keynes is named after Milton, who wrote Paradise Lost, and Keynes, the economist.
I did not know this. Did you know that Anthony Robinson was raised in Liverpool?
No, I know he played for it. He was on Everton's books, though.
Yeah, he was. He joined Everton Academy at age 11.
My dad remembered him when we were linked with him, and I was watching us against Fulham, and my dad was going, "Yeah, he was on the bench for us, that lad." Because he remembered the name, Anthony Robinson.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. That's pretty crazy. I didn't know that he was raised in. Yeah. Come back home, lad. Yeah, definitely. Raised in Liverpool, for sure. Yeah. But he is a Fulham player currently, so that is what it is. Getting back to what we're saying, so I think I have some quick keys, and then we're going to keys to the game versus Qarabag, and then let's get into our score predictions. I think it'd be a good player to have. I absolutely think he'd be a good player. No, I'm not. I do not like Alexi Lawless. Is not a player that I rate. Not like that. Even though Lawless did play, Alexi did play in Italy, but I have no interest in him playing for Liverpool. I don't know. You never know. There could be some players out there that American born that might interest you. Maybe a Weston McKennie. He'd be a decent addition to our midfield, I think. I'm not saying as a starter, but certainly as a squad player, I think he'd be an excellent addition to our team. You know, May, yes, no, yes.
Yeah, Brad Friedel's
I think
career.
he has the right sentiment, at least. Was
Yeah,
Brad
Brad
Friedel?
Friedel's career with us wasn't particularly auspicious, but it began quite well. Brad Friedel's term in goal. And it was a novelty to have an American in the team because it was rare in Britain in them days. It's become less rare now. Loads of American players have played here. But at that point in the mid-90s, it was rare to see Americans in the Premier League. He was
It
quite
was.
a
It
quiet guy,
was.
Brad, but he could be talkative, and communicative when he wanted to be. If we bought him from Columbus Crew, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, it was. I'm not saying it wasn't, but yeah, I'm not saying it was. I'm going blank on the player I was just thinking of. I can't think of his
That's
name.
truly that it's a myth about it being John Milton and John Keynes, the economist, writer and economist. Didn't know. I've never heard it. I was working with some students who told me that in Jacob's Biscuit Factory in Liverpool. He reckoned it was that. I've never heard it before.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of what team he played for though. I think he played for Sheffield Wednesday, but John Harkes back in the day, he was
Yeah,
an
John
American.
Arks was quite good. Think he was good. Roy Wegerly. Ages
Yeah,
ago, but then like we had Brian McBride and what's his mush as well. And who's the other one?
yeah, Leicester City. He
Anyway,
played for Spurs too. I think
Roy
Keller played for
Wegerly was
Spurs
dead
too.
skillful. He was in the early Prem. He was mostly at his best just before the Prem started, Roy Wegerly. But he was really talented then.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, this is real talent, Wegerly. Yeah, he was. Look, I was going to get into my keys before we get into keys to the game, and that was for this game, we got to have tempo early. We cannot allow for them to get an early strike. We can't sit back and try to again wait for the game to. I can't Wegerly my big toe. It's funny. It's a little Pulp Fiction for you there, but tempo early, make them run, make them defend. Don't let it become a slow chess match against a Qarabag team at Anfield. That's not something we want. That's not the game plan. Rest defense. Stop giving the opponent the one pass in your exposed moment. We've seen that a couple of times where we've gotten caught out, especially in our own third. That's something that we can't have happen. Can't have happen. Third, I had second balls. Win them like it's a cup final. I can't express enough that we do get to the first ball quite a bit, but the urgency to get to that second ball is sometimes non-existent. That's where control becomes dominance, in my opinion, and that's where we have to have our stakes and our mentality set at during this game. And then it was mentioned earlier in the chat. And I would go as far as to say set pieces. The fact that we've got, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but I do know the roundabout number. And that is, we have had 130 plus corner kicks this season. We've had over 130 corner kicks this season. You've scored 2. Out of 130 plus corner kicks, we've scored 2. We need to treat corner kicks like a weapon for us, not a fear factor for us, a weapon for us. We cannot get tight when it comes to we're defending against a set piece or a corner kick. That cannot be our remotely even a thought in our mind. What do you want to see in this next game most of all? What's going to be something that you must see as a progressive step forward for this team tomorrow?
A clean sheet would be nice, but I haven't even predicted a clean sheet. I went for the 3-1. Just a more controlled performance. What I hoped for the Bournemouth match. Like you say, though, I'm not going to hold out too much hope that we'll translate that there into league form against Newcastle. Newcastle are a better team than Bournemouth. They're a better team than Leeds, and they're a better team than Burnley. So I don't know how we're going to do it, but we have to find the inspiration and the plan from somewhere. Because, what he's trying at the moment just isn't coming off, is it?
Mm-hmm. I actually, Nigel, I'll surprise you with this. I actually like Mo taking corners. I don't mind. Mo's had a couple of. I think Mo has one of the goals is from his corner. I believe. I believe that's the case this season. I don't mind it, but I can understand why you probably would want Mo in a position to be able to be a threat. One of our offensive choices on the pitch. Why I say that, Nigel? I say that because Mo isn't exactly Mo doesn't have that ability that Jota had, which was like he was a short-statured person, but he's able to somehow beat people that maybe are taller than him to the position or 2 spots to get accurate headers on the ball. And I think Mo is one of our better passers, to be honest with you. He does have a very good cross, but I get that, though. I understand. He says personally he thinks he should be scoring from a corner. I can understand that, too. I can understand that perception. In the UK charts, what is it? You guys talking music, I guess. What is it for you, JK? Is there something that you want to see in this game that's going to be a difference maker for you? What's something that we have to improve on or a key to the game?
As always, giving the opposition chances to get into the game. That's the main one, bro. When you look at the first goal we let in against Bournemouth, should have been sorted out there by Virgil. Second goal, should have played the offside better, so that was another sort of mistake. The third goal was a mess. So there you go. So we invite the opposition into the games, and that's what I don't want to see at all tomorrow. Qarabag can score goals, bro. They're in the Champions League, you know what I mean? They're not a bad team. You know what I'm saying? So they've got a chance to score. They've tried to score. So, yeah. I don't really want to big up the game as much, but let's get the job done.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, agreed. Let's see. Surprise. We are just so prepared. I get that too. I have a funny question. Would you guys prefer to see? I know what the answer is going to be already, so I'm not going to be too surprised. But let's say we went with a front 2. And obviously, most of us think it'll be a natural selection of Ekitike and Salah. But could you wrap your head around a front 2 of Ekitike and Cody Gakpo? I'm not saying I want to see that. I'm just asking, could you see that?
I would go with Ekitike Salah, but if it's Ekitike and Gakpo, try it for half a game.
Mm-hmm. I know that Salah would be up in arms about it because he's not getting the start and blah blah blah. But I'm just asking, would you be up in arms if you saw Cody Gakpo and Ekitike? Yeah, I know. I'm bracing for the answer. I know. I'm already setting myself up to get.
I'd rather not see it.
There you go.
I'm not ready for Cozy. It's not his fault, like, really. He's been suffering, but I prefer to see Mo out of the two wide forwards, the two senior wide forwards.
It's a different approach you could take. I mean, you'd have a taller center forward in Cody, and you'd have a player that does have I would say the accuracy, if not better accuracy than Salah with his shots, surprisingly. Cody is a pretty accurate shooter when it comes to it, and does have a powerful shot. But I was just asking. I thought I'd get flushed with yeah. I thought that me mentioning Cody might trigger something. That wasn't me trying to do clickbait or trying to get you guys to react. It's just more so I don't know. I'm thinking of thinking of some possibilities for tomorrow to keep us fresh and keep us ready for. Because after this Qarabag game, we have some real tough games on the docket. There's some really tough games on the docket. All right. Before we close, I've got one emotional lightning rod topic. I got you, Jimmy. I got you. I've got one more emotional lightning rod to talk about. Hopefully, I don't have to wash my mouth out with soap for this one too. But Trent, the quote, the return talk, and what that really means for this fan base. So Trent wrote, his quote basically said, "I'll be back. I'd love to bring my kids to Anfield and show them where I played. On a human level, fine. Of course, 20 years at the club. That's all. There's always going to be an emotional gravity to it. But we can separate the sentiment from accountability and everything else, but because obviously a return as a spectator is not the same as a return as a player. Okay. Oh, already getting hit down. All right. I don't know if Red Armchair Supporter is saying, okay, I think most of you are saying about Trent. All right. I think the reason that still hits nerves is simple. A lot of supporters didn't just lose a player. They feel like they lost alignment to our back line. They lost a player that represented the city, represented our team, represented possibly a very influential portion of our club. And the story didn't end with unity; it ended with distance, obviously. Now, could he come back one day as a guest, as a legend? How about just as a human being? That's what we all have to be sometimes. I get that. So, but as a football decision, that's a different universe. I understand that. A different galaxy all in one, especially with the current context. I'm seeing everyone is just dropping no's in the chat before I even got to the question. But all right. If Trent comes back, it should be because time has healed the relationship, not because Liverpool got desperate, obviously. but but yeah, it's interesting that most people would not take. I don't. I guess Rasta Crab's not a part of the chat currently or at the moment because Rasta was talking this up. He was going to die on that hill and say bring back Trent. That's what he was saying. Just bring back Trent. But okay. No. I got you, Norm. I got you. I know Red Iron Chair supporters had the same. What do you guys think? Well, how do you guys feel about these comments from Trent saying that he hopes to return to Anfield one way or another as a supporter or as a fan or just as a just as a person? What are your feelings, Lee? Oh. As someone from the city, someone that's growing up loving this club.
Feelings about what was it? Sorry.
Feelings about Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, I think the moment's passed for us and him. That I wish him well if he moves on from Real Madrid, but I think the moment's passed and we've moved on and we'd be going back to the past if we re-signed him.
Yeah, I can agree on his brother, the agent. That's not someone that I want to see representing.
I enjoyed Trent while he was here, but I don't think I could countenance a move to bring him back to Anfield so soon after him leaving on a free. Not because he's not a good player, just because we've been there and done that. And going back to the same club usually doesn't work out. More often than not, it doesn't work out. Very rare occasion it does.
That's what I thought
very
too.
Rare. As rare as hen's teeth. The occasions when going back somewhere pays off.
His brother has just signed someone else. I forget what player it was, but his brother did just sign another Liverpool youth actually to his agency. I did remember seeing that because I saw that Trent Alexander-Arnold wrote something, like a welcome to the family or something type message to him. Yeah. His brother is not a welcome agent or presence, managerial player managerial presence in the room.
Right, let's think what players Liverpool have re-signed and it went well.
Yeah.
Rush went well, although he wasn't the Rush he was before, and he lost a bit. He was ill, innocently rushy, and when he come back, it took him a while to get going. But very, very rarely in football do you see that a player go back to the same club and it works out. Usually it doesn't work out.
Yeah. Well, we're about up on the 2-hour mark. Sometimes time flies when you're having fun. So hopefully you guys had some fun today with our conversation. What I was going to say is we're going to leave it there, but I'm going to allow for Lee and for JK to have their last say before we do. Lee, go ahead. Start it off.
Yeah.
JK still. Okay, JK, you can start off.
Yeah. Bless up the chat as always. Let's get a win tomorrow, bro.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. Tell us your prediction.
Prediction. Let's go for a 2-0 tomorrow. Me and Red Armchair.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Lee, what is your give a shout out, and a parting shout, and also give a prediction as well.
Yeah, cheers to everybody who's been in chat. Thanks for being here and for your contributions. I will predict 3-1 against Qarabag. I think we've got enough to score 3 goals and win the game, but I think they'll also manage to manufacture a goal, whether it's by our own ineptitude or their skill. I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to give them a goal. I believe they had a good result lately, which is rare for them to get anything in it. I think they got a win lately over someone, didn't they? In Qarabag, in Azerbaijan.
Lee
Uh,
Lee said that they are guaranteed to score. All right. Well, I'll make sure to get some predictions. Tomorrow is going to be an interesting one because I think tomorrow I wanted to double check too. I think tomorrow, because it's the last game of the groups, the group or the league stage. Because it's the last stage, I think every game is on at the same time. I want to say. Let me double check. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks. Yeah, 8 o'clock kickoffs across the board. Yeah, that way all the games are, all the games will be, there won't be any like, oh, we don't need to win this game because this team won or this team lost. It is going to be 8 o'clock kickoffs across the board. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 games tomorrow, all going on at once. 18 games. That is going to be a wild one. And a fun one for some, maybe not for others, because there'll be a lot of games possibly that might be intriguing to watch, and we'll all be certainly tuned into ours. But I'm gonna try to get some picks for our squad and or for the day from our squad here. And then yeah, if you want to give us some of your picks or some of your um your dark horses for tomorrow, definitely get them in the comment section. Lee, did you want to give you what was your score prediction again?
3-1.
3-1. Okay. You're going 3-1, just like Red Armchair Supporter went 3-1 as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Qarabag is certainly prepared and highly motivated for this, so we shouldn't take this lightly. Nope, we should not. We should not. I don't think we will. I do not think that we will take this lightly. We have a bunch at stake here. It's top 8 is on the line. If we lose, we leave it in the hands of those behind us, and that's not what we want to do. So, look, the debate around Liverpool right now is loud. It's somewhat, it could be in some corners pretty ugly and vulgar, in others it can be at least sensible and reasonable. But whether it's fair or lazy, that's for us to evaluate. But what I'm not accepting is the idea that this club is not going to put in an effort, and they have to do so tomorrow. They have to carry that same mentality in all of our competitions. These problems are fixable problems. They might even be coachable. And they are also a test. They are primarily a test of leadership. And that calls upon our coach, calls upon the club, calls upon our players, all to do their part. Whether on the touchline or on the pitch, it matters. Come tomorrow, we need this boost. Big night against Qarabag. Handle our business. Earn the win. We get what we want, and that is moving on in Champions League in that top 8. And for the love of everything, please, please, please play with urgency. Play with a sense that you want to give us the fans a show. If you've enjoyed this, please hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that stuff. Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you didn't like it, still hit the like, still hit the subscribe button. Be a part of the conversation. Understand that we're trying to be respectful. This isn't some place where, your opinions don't matter. They do. And we listen to everyone. We try to be sensible. We try to understand what they have to say. And we also understand that we're all Reds here. We all want the same thing, and that's success for our club. So, again, we look forward to hearing you be a part of this conversation, you being a part of this movement, and we appreciate you, whether it's Nigel, Red Armchair Supporter, Lee, WizKid, who else was in the chat? Cedric was in the chat, Hylor was in the chat, Jimmy was in the chat, Norm, of course, was in the chat. We had some Lone Sheep, some really good people. Alexander was in the chat early. We definitely need to continue to push on and continue to have this conversation. Because if we don't, then we allow for these other platforms to kind of take hold of the narrative, even though we don't agree at that narrative. Oh, and shout out to Peter, too. I can't forget Peter. Peter was asking me if I'm slot in or slot out yet. Not there yet. Not either. I am Liverpool in. How about that? I am Liverpool in. So, all right. Until tomorrow, Reds Roll Call. We'll be here. Hopefully, JK and Lee will be here as well. And we will, once again, start it all over and go for this win. Shout out. 2-0. Yeah, that's right. 2-0, Jimmy. That's like a good shout. Good shout. I think I went 3-0. I went 3-0 as my call. 3-0 was my call for tomorrow. But we gotta have a clean sheet. I want a clean sheet as a major part. So I appreciate the love. Definitely see you guys tomorrow for Red Roll Call. We'll do a post match as well. But until then, up the Reds each and every time. And best believe you'll never walk alone. We will see you tomorrow. Take care, guys.